Well, I am making the pattern that Fiber Spider has on his YouTube channel. It's just go on over there, just type in Fiber Spider, and this is a granny stitch wrap. He's got a lot of different things in that granny stitch, like this triangle shawl, and this one you just wrap. This is the back here where the point is, and it'll come around and actually have a nice cozy wrap when it gets bigger. I am using Karen Big Cakes, and the colorway is Nightberry. And I got a couple more skeins, but I'm sure I'm going to have to buy some more if I can find it, because this is pretty old yarn. It's been in my stash for a while, so hoping they haven't discontinued this color or whatever, because then I'm going to find some kind of alternate with the colors that are in it to add to it or something, because that'll be bad. I don't even want to look up and see if they got any right now, because I'm having a lot of fun crocheting this. I used to swear off the granny stitch because it's the first stitch I ever learned, and I just thought it was boring after a while, and it was holey. I didn't like it, but there's lots of things good about it as well. You can get your projects done pretty fast. You ain't got to worry about as much, well, your yarn splitting, because you got to get in these stitches, like if you're doing a single crochet, or even, not getting into the right spot. And I never used to chain one in between my granny clusters either. And I'm finding sometimes, especially when it's wearables like this wrap, you kind of might want that, I get why people want it more dense and, solid granny square stuff, because it just takes a while. But I'm determined to make this. I started making his granny stitch pullover sweater type thing, and I don't think I really cared for the yarn that I liked, and it was super expensive yarn. I had to get it from my local yarn shop, and they went out of business now anyway, but I couldn't get any more with that specific kind and color. And God, I'd gotten 8 of them to start with, Hanks, and I don't know, and I was bigger then too, so trying to get it to fit me was crazy. So I did just make a hexagon that I've never made and always wanted to too, from Gilded Loop's website, or I joined his group, and they did a crochet along with doing that hexie, and I learned a lot on that. I actually got one to fit me, but again, and it was cotton yarn, but it's so super heavy. I almost think maybe if I did it with a 3-weight, I don't know, cotton just seems to be pretty heavy anyway. And I'll have to post a picture up. There might be a picture on my website, on my YouTube channel, under the post, so that anybody can go and see. But it was just heavy. I mean, it'll be nice if it's, super cold in the classrooms this winter. Since I'm a para and I'm really dreading going back. We've already done some training and some welcome back stuff, and I've been doing that for 15 years, and same thing, trainings every year, just kind of bored. I should have named my channel Carla's Bored, because I talk about being bored all the time. My husband and I do not work the same shift, so we don't spend much time together, and when we do, it seems like it's just arguing because, I don't know, things we haven't told each other and think we have or whatever, but anyway, just little tiffs. But I just get irritated because, like, in the summer, I'm here all day. The only body I have to talk to is my dog Ozzy and my cat Ryan. Sorry, tongue twister. Then he gets home and I want like some adult conversation, and he wants to catch up on his social media and watch his silly shows. If I have to see another Walking Dead series, it's not going to be good. I just come into the bedroom, let him do that, because, you know, I've watched like the first season of it, it's okay, but then when they start having all those spin-offs and more seasons, I was just done. I listen to more TV than I watch anyway. I listen to it while I crochet, but I know what's going on if I'm interested. If not, it's just noise in the background. And then there's a couple shows I got into, and they're not crochet watching ones, because I have to see what's going on, and I look up and the people aren't who I thought they were when I'm listening to their voice, and I picture in my head what they should look like, and it's never. So I don't really much. I watch Law and Order and stuff I've seen 100 times, so I know. I don't know. I'm just not a TV watcher. I watch YouTube videos of people making things. I don't know. I used to watch TV all the time, but when COVID happened, I stopped watching the news. I don't watch that at all. And I just can't get into a lot of the sitcoms that they have. I watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, but I don't like have to watch it. If it's on, I'll watch it. If it's not, that's okay too. I can remember having sitcoms back in the day when, like, you're out doing something. I gotta be home to got to see that next, episode. So now basically all I watch is baseball and football. I'm glad football season's starting back up. Just preseason yet, but I've been watching baseball. I didn't really watch baseball much at all, and last year I got into when it was postseason time, and I got real into it. I've been watching this year, and the Royals are letting me down a lot because I'm from Kansas area, and I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. So, what better team to go for? Because I was already a Chiefs fan because of my dad. I've watched football all my entire life, and I liked the Chiefs when they really sucked for all those years where they had everybody's washed up quarterbacks. Like when they had Montana after he was done in San Francisco, and Warren Moon after he was done with the Houston Oilers. We always got their leftover and then could just never find a quarterback. Now we got a quarterback, and let me tell you what, we got fans out the woodwork. And I just hate people that are only with the team because they've been doing good or they're winning. Then they hop to another team, but that one lets them down. However, it seems like I'm, trying to root for the Royals, and I know who's on their teams, but I don't know enough about the other teams either. I keep saying I need to find a new team, and then I'm being just like the people I hate. So, but I think there's so many baseball teams, I should have a couple of them I like or something, because my mom always liked St. Louis, but I think St. Louis has had a good years where they've won recently, and I've always been for the underdog on anything if it's not my team, like that. Like, so when Kansas City was completely out of it last year, I was like, let's find that worst team to jump on the bandwagon for and root for. If I have to watch football, whether my team's involved or not, I will watch every single game. That I can anyways. But that's the one good thing about having the school job, is You know, it's 8 to 3. So, no weekends, no holidays. I get to watch all the ball games. Now, there has been times when there have been night games on that they go a little long. And then Carter's super tired of a morning. But, oh well, you gotta do what you gotta do. I have very few things I like to go do. Crochet is one, or yarn craft in general, because I can knit. I taught myself to knit. Or I shouldn't say I taught myself. YouTube taught me how to knit. YouTube taught me how to do loom knitting as well. And the only thing I don't like about the knitting is it takes so long to finish anything. I mean, even a little scarf takes forever. And loom knitting's kind of the same way, but I think it's a little bit faster because you can set it down wherever you left off. You ain't got to worry about the stitches coming unraveled. If you stop in the middle of a row of knitting, especially if you've got a pattern going, you never remember where you're at. But two, you can put those stoppers on the ends, but you come back and end up somehow losing stitches, and every time you lose a stitch, you can't just go back a little bit and start. It's like a whole process. We start going down, and you have a completely lost stitch all the way down, and to rip off the back that far is terrible. Now I have figured out how to try to save the stitch with a crochet hook and all. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes it just looks like a mess. So, I don't know. But this is how this is looking. I'm not a fan of the colors, really. But I've been mostly always get these bright, pretty colors, pinks and the purples. And then when I go to try to wear it, it's just like a sore thumb. So I tried to get something that was more of a neutral color, because I'll have plenty of blue shirts and stuff this would be fine with. Even my regular clothes. I'll have like pink shorts, and then I can't find a shirt that goes with it. I'm not a matchy-match person anyway. I'm waiting to join the Red Hat ladies and wear what I like or what's comfortable, and who cares. I've started their red hat and their purple clothes, but when you see these women out in the real world, they're dressed up all fancy and to-do. I need a poor person's version of it, or I would call redneck. I need to just wear what's comfortable, and if I'm at my weight and I want to wear a dang halter top, I should be able to. I wouldn't, because I'm self-conscious, but I'm just saying, was one of my pet peeves is when I used to go to the gym all the time, there would be this girl in there, just showing off her whatever, I don't know. But I swear, she was wearing one of those, sports top bras. I don't know, it just looked like a bra to me. But if I had walked in there like that with my fat old self, what do you think? Do you think that they would have just... No, they would probably come and told me there's a dress code. I don't know. I'm just kind of jaded on that because there's so much discrimination against fat people a lot of times. I can remember when I was I used to weigh 400 pounds. I'm down to 210 now. But I can remember when I was that big, before I found out I had diabetes and stuff, that people in restaurants and stuff would just stare at me. It got to me where I didn't want to go out because I knew they were thinking, man, why is she eating that? She's so fat. And I just thought I was being judged when people would look at me when I'm just trying to have dinner with my family. But I'm pretty much got over that now. I don't care. I think it's just because I'm older and I don't care. But back when I was in my 20s and I was that big, because people did look at me. They did. And whether they were looking at me for that reason, I don't know. But it just seemed like, because it was my own feelings about myself that made it magnify why they may be looking at me. But anyway, I don't really care anymore about that. I wear clothes that don't match. I wear clothes that are comfortable. I wear clothes with holes in them. I don't care. I mean, come on. I can go to Walmart dressed, and there's always going to be someone there better, worse to look at than me. You know, I think a lot of people need to understand too. Sometimes fat people wear clothes that don't fit, not because they think it's cool or whatever, but they probably can't afford anything else. They probably, because bigger people's clothes, my experience, have always costed more. And when you're so poor, you can't afford it. You gotta wear what you got. I don't know. Anyway, off that subject, because it just aggravates me. I could go on all day and be talking about that. See, if I could find this blue right here for when I run out of my yarn, that would be a good one to like go around, a little bit to finish it off if I'm just a little short. I don't know. But I'm really liking that. I'm also making a poncho, but of course my poncho is pinks and lavender and yellow and white, and I actually started making it for a girl in my classroom, but then I lost mojo with it, and we started getting more girls, and it was like, I can't make one for everybody. And that was when I really couldn't crochet much anymore because my arm was so super numb. Hopefully this crocheting will make my arm stronger, maybe. I feel strong. I mean, they say that I have the same strength in it when they do those neuro tests on me. It's just it feels numb. But do you feel very strong if you sit down somewhere and your foot falls asleep? Does that foot feel very strong? Well, that's how my leg and my arm feel all the time. Now, there are degrees of it. Sometimes it's worse because if I've done a lot of walking or whatever, bending stuff, then it does feel worse. And it's not like when your foot falls asleep, it eventually wakes up, and it's really painful for it to wake up, and you walk it out, and it's fine. Mine never goes completely away, the numbness. And I stumble, and I only stumble and lose my balance because sometimes I just don't know where my foot's landing, and it might not land right, and it makes me stumble. And I'm tired of kind of explaining that to people. I should, I feel like I always need to, and I don't know. Well, I'm going to end this here. I think you watched me do this enough. I'll keep posting updates. And I know those of you that have watched are probably waiting for the latest update on my ugly yarn blanket. However, that thing is so heavy, I can't hardly do it anymore. I've got 4 more skeins if I make it as long as the skeins I have, but it's almost done because it's long as a king size bed. I just never made it that wide. I made it just wide enough for me. So I'm going to be ending that off soon, and then I'll show you the end results for that. Okay, have a good day. I'm going to see what else I can do today.